Hello 8.1 and welcome to your whole class feedback for the essay on why did the world go to war in 1914. First of all, I would like to say that I really enjoyed reading your essays. You all showed really lovely, thoughtful, and sometimes very detailed responses to the topic and to the question. Well done. I would just like to use this as an opportunity to go through one or two pieces of praise, so what went really well in some of your essays, but also to clarify any misconceptions. The clarification of these misconceptions will help you in subsequent essays. They are not all specific to this essay or to this topic. First of all, let's go through some of the bits that went really well. I really liked your use of the language of causes. You used words such as sparked or triggered and phrases like tipping point for the July crisis. These are really good words for characterising the July crisis and how it caused World War I. Hayden, you did this when you wrote, "I believe that the assassination of Franz Ferdinand was the thing that really pushed Germany over the edge, causing war to break out in 1914. This phrase, pushed Germany over the edge, shows really lovely use of causal imagery. This idea that for decades European countries had been pressed, but the assassination of Franz Ferdinand was the event that signalled no return and everything came tumbling down. Well done. Carl, I really liked your argument that the world went to war because of the events in July 1914 due to the impact it had. However, I also think that some underlying causes had quite an effect, despite them being resolved, such as Russia's humiliation, which solved a fight but affected the future. I thought this was a really lovely demonstration of understanding of how events in the past impacted on the decision taken in 1914 to go to war. This really nicely showed a linking and understanding that the nature and course of events in July 1914 rested largely on past similar experiences. This really lovely linking was also shown in Ellie's work, when she wrote, "Alliances could reflect that a world war was on people's minds before 1914, as alliances were built for protection, defence and offence." This was a really lovely demonstration of understanding of the reasons why alliances were formed, but also the atmosphere that they created, i.e. fear and suspicion of the motives and actions of the countries with whom they were not allied. Moving on slightly, I wanted to highlight Lily and Kian's thinking. Lily wrote the military had too much influence over political decisions, and Kian wrote the military had a lot to say in the war, almost as much as the politicians. I put these two together because they both demonstrate thinking and understanding that there is a difference, a distinction to be made between the military and the government. It is true that the military, so the army generals and the naval admirals, had more power and sway over decisions taken then than they do now. This ties in with increased militarism, that decisions and government were becoming increasingly militarised. To understand that and bring it into your essays so effortlessly showed a really high level of understanding. Well done. I now want to move on to clearing up any misconceptions. First of all, make sure you use your introduction effectively. A handful of you did not actually have an introduction. You must include an introduction when writing an essay. The purpose of an introduction is simply to introduce what it is you are going to write about. Say what you are going to say. The best introductions also hint at, or perhaps explicitly say, your answer to the question. So the reader is left in no doubt as to what your answer to the question is from the outset. They do not have to go hunting for the answer, you explicitly tell them from the outset. Another one I'd like to clear up is make sure you link your paragraphs together. Each paragraph does not exist in isolation. This means that you must link each paragraph to the question. So whatever it is you are discussing in your paragraph, say why or how that contributed to the world going to war in 1914. Do not leave the paragraph open-ended. Tie it to the question to tie it up. These two you can carry through into your next essay. So these are general. A feedback that is more specific to the course is that the July crisis is not an event. Some of your essays seemed to suggest that you thought the July crisis was an event. It wasn't, it was a series of events. So it happened, or it was sparked or triggered, or it started with the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, so he was the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne. His assassination was on the 28th of June 1914. This event then triggered or sparked the events in July 1914, and the end result of all this was World War, at the beginning of August 1914. Just to clear up also any spelling or grammatical errors, make sure when you're writing assassination you use two S's twice. So it is ASS, ASS. Crisis and crises. Crisis is the singular, crises is the plural. So you have one crisis and 2, 3, 4, whatever, multiple crises, okay? And alliances, some of you are spelling it with two E's as opposed to two A's. So the middle, so the ALLIENC, some of you are spelling it that way, but the correct way to spell it is ILLIANCES. Hopefully that has clarified a few things and issues for you. Overall, I was really impressed. I thought you all wrote brilliant, thoughtful and informative essays. Well done.